They're evicting me. I'm not going to let them. I don't even know how to begin this video, but it doesn't seem like this year is going to be what I hoped it was. It just feels like one step forward, two steps back, over and over and over again. Or that cycle of dopamine and work that I tell you guys to avoid. This is not going to be one of those videos where I confess that I'm constantly stuck in that cycle, because I don't even have the funds to really be able to afford the dopamine part of that cycle. I just got back from home. I was going to go pick up my lunch that I forgot this morning. And if anyone knows what it's like to not have enough money to afford anything, the last thing you want to do is either see one of those blue flags planted outside or get a notice hanging on the door in the form of the electric's been disconnected or whatever the issue is. But for me, I had one of these, and it's never a good sign when you get one of these. I turned the page because I don't want to dox myself on top of everything else that's going on in my life. I'm being evicted again, and I don't know how to take it. Obviously, you guys are going to think, well, that's because you're behind on rent. It's for January, right? No, January's been paid. That's because you're behind on rent for December. No, December's been paid. It's a long story. So I will start at the beginning of the issue, and I'll try my very best to make sure that I'm thorough and that I'm honest and that you guys can understand exactly why I'm so upset about this. I'm not going to lie. I was behind on rent in September. Things got pretty bad and I couldn't quite make the payments per usual. So I did what you normally do, and I called the landlord, or in this case, the property manager, and made a payment arrangement. Let them know, hey, here's what's going on. Here's the reason why I'm behind. I can make X amount of payments in order to get everything caught up. They agreed, but I couldn't maintain the payments. This is right around the time I started making those notorious $250 paychecks. I didn't even know they could go that low. I spent through all of my emergency fund since March of 2024, that year, since I didn't have any additional income coming in. There was no emergency fund. There was no way I was going to be able to make that work. I'm going to drive today. It makes me feel a little bit better. So I go ahead and make the payment arrangement, and I was unable to keep it. I think there was a grand total of 3 payments made, but now we're talking the rent's now like going on 5 weeks behind. And so they filed for eviction. And if anyone knows anything about filing for eviction, your landlord will stop accepting all payments from you until you at least go and do the arbitration with the county magistrate. Or at least that's how it works here in my state. We got to go meet with the county magistrate and their representative, typically their lawyer. I'm going to try to speak louder just so that way I can make sure you guys can hear me over the road noise. So I go and meet with them, and they say that my options are to try to pay and stay, which means payment will be due in full, or I can vacate the premises. Well, being the shrewd, resourceful person that I like to believe that I am, I told them I'm going to try to pay and stay. I'm going to do my very best to try to raise the money and get everything all caught up. So that's what I did. I went back to the drawing board. I spoke to my roommate. It wasn't just me who was behind. My roommate was also having some issues. They had just started working again. And we put our heads together, trying to come up with a plan. And we did. But by this time, I think the court date was set for late October, and that had given me roughly 3 weeks to get everything paid up in full. So it was November by this time. It was time to go and make that payment, and I was short. I'm not gonna lie, I was short, and so I'm panicking. I don't really have anyone else I can ask for the money. It's been a rough, the last year was a rough year for a lot of people. I did something I didn't think I was ever gonna do, and I pawned my guitars, and it was painful. These are guitars that I've had for years. I mean, years and years. And obviously, if you pawn things, they don't give you the full value of what they're really worth. So I pawned my guitars. I took that money. I took the money from my roommate for their rental payments. I took all the money that I saved up to that point, and then I got a little cash infusion from my girlfriend of about $200, and thank God for her. And I approached the representative, the property manager, and said, "Hey, I know this is the balance. I think the balance was $2,800 or something around there. This is the balance. Here's how much I have. Can we make this work?" And they said, "Yes, we can make that work." So I was astounded. I was over the moon. And I was like, "Okay, well, I only have it in cash. So like, I'm gonna go take the time to go get this transfer over to money orders and get this all paid up." Well, I made a critical mistake, maybe two critical mistakes at that point. The rental office closes at 4. I had work that day, and so I had to go back to work to finish out my day. And so I asked the property representative if there was any way that I can use the Dropbox. Hey, is it okay if I get the money orders and I use the Dropbox? They said yes. I said okay. And my second mistake is I didn't go to my bank, my local bank, and get the money order from my local bank. And I didn't do that for several reasons, is because I'm low key kind of embarrassed of the balance that's in that account. And so it's really tough when I show up there with a bunch of cash in my hand and ask them for a money order and pay the fee. Instead, I went to a grocery store and I got them to transfer the cash over to a money order, several, because they have limits. So I'm quickly transferring this money over to money orders. I had to pick up my daughter. I had to finish out work. And then I returned to the office. I think it was right around 7 p.m. I can double check my timestamp and I'll make sure I tell you guys here, because something told me to take photos as proof of my payment. And for my privacy, I'm going to blur some of the information on the money orders, but I have the money orders. I filled them out in this very car, made it out to the property manager with my name, the date's already printed on it, the amount's already printed on it, and went to go pay it. And when I had informed my girlfriend that's what I was going to go do, she said, "Make sure you take photos." And I was like, this is just weird feeling. And you got to sometimes listen to your gut. But there was this weird feeling. I was like, yeah, sure. So I took a video. I think I remember I took a video, but if not, I have photos of not only the money orders with me on location, but then me placing money orders into the Dropbox, and then the photo of the money orders in the Dropbox. I wear cool. Wash my hands of situations. All paid, thank God. Now let's focus on getting some money for not only the Christmas season that's coming up, but let's get this money back together so that way I can go retrieve my guitars. They're very important to me. I've been playing guitar for about 17 years. One of them was a gift. Anyways, the following Monday comes and I get a call from my property manager. "Hey, did you drop off my yours?" Like, "I sure did. I put them in the Dropbox." She's like, "Well, I'm not seeing them." My heart drops. "Well, what do you mean you're not seeing them?" Perhaps someone else that works there may have grabbed them and deposited them. Obviously, this has to be the case. It's like, "No, I'm not seeing them. Can you send me the photos?" I don't remember how we got to that topic, but I believe it was something along the lines of she wanted to see proof that I actually had the money order, so I had taken photos already. And so I resent her the photos and she said, "Okay, obviously this is an issue on our part. Don't worry about it. I'm gonna get to the bottom of this." I don't think anything else of it until about 3, 4 days later, where I get another call and they're like, yeah, it seems like there's been some issue with the money orders. We don't have them. We can't find them. Do you have the receipts? I'm like, yes, of course. I have the receipts. Can you take photos of the receipts? Sure. Take photos of the receipts. Where did you buy them? Gave the address where I bought them, date, time. Like, God, it was just a mess. I had the date, the time, the photos. And so I sent that over. And then she was like, okay, we're going to get to the bottom of this. She's going to reach out to the company that printed off the money orders and see if we can get to the bottom of this. Yeah, they opened up an entire investigation. They looked into it. Long story short, about 2 weeks ago, not even, I get an email from my property manager is telling me to call them or come into the office. I opt to call. I have work. I work every day. Yeah, so they've concluded the investigation, and apparently there was someone else's name who the money was made out to, and they've already cashed it. Therefore, we can't honor your payment. And this is why I was probably in such a really bad mood coming into this year, just feeling like just everything was against me, not really certain of what to do. But she said, you don't have to go and make a police report, and if a police report isn't made by such and such date, which I believe she said was January 15th, then we're going to conclude that you're not going to handle this matter on your behalf. We've already done everything we can on our side. If you don't do it, we're going to file for eviction, essentially. With that, she issued, I guess, to cover her own, her own behind. She issued an email with a pay or quit notice for the entire balance, which I believe was, actually I have it written down here. The entire balance was $26.85. That includes a $300 court fee for the previous eviction. My rent's only $730. And you divide that by two people, it's pretty affordable. That's why, I figured I can still kind of make this work. Anyways, there was a point in time too where she even contacted them and tried to get this whole thing resolved. And she said, well, there is a reclaim fee for each of the money orders, and we're not going to make you pay that because you're not responsible for it. That was on us. That's our part. And I thought maybe then, things will be resolved peacefully and amicably and things will go okay. But this really dark thought crossed my mind that maybe they know who took those money orders and they're just trying to play me and try to get more money. I don't know. I should have waited till Monday, brought them in person, got the receipt in person. But I've been renting from these people for 7 years. At this point, 8 years. I didn't think it was going to be an issue. They tried to raise the rent several times, and maybe they just really want me gone. So now I have court on February 5th for the past due balance from September, October, and November. It's weird how an account ledger can show that December and January has been paid, but September, October, November hasn't. And I have a letter dismissing that earlier eviction claim because they received the money orders. But now they're trying to reverse that decision. I'm being evicted for paying the rent. I pawned my guitars. I borrowed money in order to make this happen. And now I'm down guitars and behind on rent. It just doesn't seem right. I don't want to necessarily make this all doom and gloom because while things have seemed like it's been 2 steps back, there was that 1 step forward. Being able to connect with you guys and speak more with you like someone actually cares has really made a big impact and difference for me personally. And I don't know what this is going to become. I failed several times on YouTube before, but I do know that I think that I can do this. I think it's doable because I've been through this process so many times and clawed my way out of it, working extra shifts, doubling down, making a payment arrangement, whatever it was that I had to do this past year, I made it happen. And I think I can make it happen again. I don't really know what else to say about this situation other than it just feels wrong. Feels like I've been treated poorly or whatever it is, and people think that I'm on here crying or talking about how bad life sucks. No, life doesn't suck. I have a beautiful daughter. I I have a healthy car, right? Like, and but that's not. There's comments about that too. Everyone trying to say that I have such a nice car. Maybe if I didn't have a car payment, I never said I had a car payment. I pay for this thing in cash, and it's a healthy car because I take care of it because I know how to keep preventive maintenance up. I maintain this car. This car was paid for in cash. So for someone who would hop in the comment section without knowing me and assume things based on the way that they see things, I don't even know what they saw to make it to be completely transparent. I don't even know what they saw to make them think that I drive such a nice car, I pay this car note, whatever the case is. I don't. I live pretty modestly, all things considered. I don't go out to eat very often. I don't wear designer clothes, or I don't buy a lot of clothes for myself at all. Anyways, I think the point of what I was trying to get out is I am I am hopeful that maybe things will be a little bit different this year. I have some prospects for a second job. I am door dashing, and perhaps I can crawl out of this hole. I'm not looking for sympathy. I'm not looking for a handout. I would never ask you guys to donate or anything that's not like that. That's not the type of person I am. That's not the person I've ever been. But you being here, your support, watching the videos, maybe even watching them all the way through, giving me thumbs up, even your comments, negative, positive, or whatever, it has been extremely helpful. And maybe this could be a viable alternative for another stream of income while I begin to implement other plans that that can only ever dream of. They're trying to evict me, and I don't think I'm gonna let them. I'm not gonna just roll over and just let this happen. I've gone through this before with them, and I got through it. I think I can do it again. I'm gonna stay focused. I'm gonna keep my eye on the prize. I'm gonna save my money, and I'm gonna make this work, no matter what comes my way. I hope you guys gain something from this video. And if you want to hear more, track my progress, keep in touch with me, be sure to subscribe because it does help me out a ton. If you have something to say, maybe I'm blinded to something that maybe I missed along the way, then leave a comment down below. This is not going to just be a battle of me going to go throw my money away at these people again. I think it's time to maybe fight fire with fire, and I need to meet their lawyer with one of my own. It's not that hard to retain a lawyer. I have proof that I paid them. If they have an inadequate system that has security flaws, that's on them. They have a whole camera right by the door. If they didn't record anything or it's just there for show, that's on them. That's their problem. They acknowledge they received payment by dismissing the original claim. And now they want to go and reignite this flame with me for God knows whatever reason. It doesn't seem fair and it doesn't seem legal. And I'm not going to stand by and just let this happen. I appreciate you guys. I appreciate you guys so much. I hope that you guys have a better day than I'm having. But this is not going to be the end. I'm not going to just let this happen.